If you are currently doubting whether Substack is the right platform for you, pay close attention to the next few minutes. I am here to convince you that your niche or topic is probably not too specific or too different to work really well on Substack right now. And I'm saying this because I hear the same worries all the time. A lot of creators assume that growth will not happen for them because their topic feels too small, too weird, or too far from what seems to be working. And that one belief quietly costs them a real audience and a business that pays them back. At Right Build Scale, we've helped thousands of creators grow on Substack in just about every niche you can imagine. So I'll say this plainly, your topic is rarely the reason for slow growth. So let me show you why and exactly how to grow a best-selling Substack in a boring niche starting from zero. Let's start by clearing up the two doubts I hear most often. The first one is, isn't Substack already saturated? And the second is, will my people even be on the platform? Now, here's something most people don't know. A lot of creators are moving over to Substack right now and think that it's a new platform. It is often presented as the new opportunity, but the reality is that Substack has been around for almost a decade by now, and it's getting hundreds of millions of website visits every single month. Over 5 million people are currently paying for premium content access, and thousands of different publications are already earning real money from their work. This is not some new small platform that you're too late for. It's busy, it's growing rapidly, and there's a huge audience waiting to discover and follow new voices. But the size itself isn't even the best part. It's who these people are. Substack is a platform for readers, learners, and curious minds. Nobody lands on the platform to kill 10 minutes scrolling a feed. They come to actually read, to learn, and to go deep on a topic they care about. That is the exact person you want on the other end of your work. Your people are already here. Open the Substack leaderboards and see for yourself. It is very easy to spot the publications that are serving your target audience. There are best-selling publications in gardening, philosophy, history, film, personal finance, parenting, and almost any other topic that you can name. Now, here's the part most people get backward. A specific, unusual, even boring topic to write about is not necessarily a disadvantage. It can even be your edge. And there are three specific reasons for that. First of all, there is less noise. If you are serving readers on a subject that nobody else is really writing about, it will be much easier to stand out. As I said, it's not likely that you are the only one, but even if you were, it's not necessarily a disadvantage. Second, there is a higher serious intent from your readers. Niche readers aren't there just to be entertained. They are there because they need what you have, and that makes them far more likely to subscribe and to eventually pay for your work. And third, expertise beats personality. If you are serving people on a topic they truly care about, even if it is boring, it means that you can stick to the core topic of your work without chasing the algorithm or trying to stand out with weird growth hacks and trends. Instead, all you care about is sharing your message and being genuinely useful to your audience. So when you show up with real depth, people are not just skimming and reading your content. Instead, they are connecting and feeling understood, which makes them stay and gets them ready to eventually pay you. Now, your niche being small or unusual is not really the ceiling, and I would love to encourage you to look at it as an advantage instead. So let me show you how to actually build this, because it's the same path we teach every creator we work with, and it works whether your topic is trending or completely niche. And it really comes down to three simple moves, and we call them create, connect, and convert. Create is very simple. It means that you build a small library of genuinely useful articles that prove you know your subject inside and out. And if you are operating in a specific niche and truly know your target audience, you don't need dozens of clever takes to do that, because one deeply helpful guide that solves a real problem will do far more for you than dozens of pieces of content that are scattered. You are not trying to go viral here. You're trying to become the obvious choice to follow on your topic so that the moment someone discovers your work, they immediately know that they are in the right place. Connect means getting your work in front of the exact people who need it. And on Substack, you do that through notes and by building real relationships with other creators in your space. even if your niche feels tiny, your future readers are already on the platform right now, and they are already subscribed to other publications that sit right next to yours. So your job is to keep showing up where those people already are, consistently until they find you. And convert means making your promise crystal clear and then giving people something that is genuinely worth paying for. In most niches, it doesn't make much sense to just put more articles behind your paywall, because what your reader truly wants is a specific outcome and not just more content. Your conversion tools can be a simple guide, a system, or a product that finally solves the problem they keep running into. And that is the entire path, from zero. And the best part is that it does not change just because your topic happens to be unusual. The only thing that really changes is the details you fill it with. Now let me give you something you can actually do with all of this, instead of just nodding along and forgetting it by tomorrow. Before you write another single post, I want you to get completely clear on one thing, and that is your intention for the reader. And the simplest way to do that is to sit down and honestly answer 3 questions about your topic. The first question is who exactly your work and your writing is for. You are really looking for the one specific person whose problem you understand better than almost anyone else. The second question is what that person genuinely wants that they are not getting anywhere else right now. Because the more underserved they happen to be, the bigger your opportunity actually is. And the third question is what you could give that person that would genuinely change something for them, whether that is an article, a resource, a product, or even just a decision that they've been stuck with for months. If you can answer those 3 questions clearly, then I promise you that your topic is not too small and you have a real best-selling publication opportunity sitting right in front of you. And if your niche honestly feels boring or too specialized to ever work, then these questions matter even more and not less. A trending topic can thrive thanks to novelty for a while, but it's not proven to last. If you, however, have a proven track record in your field, you can be sharp and you can build something that is meant to last. Your real edge here is clarity. A sharper reader, a sharper promise, and a sharper reason for that reader to care about what you do. So the more specific you are willing to get, the more that so-called boring topic quietly becomes your single biggest advantage. Now, if you want the shortcut version of everything I just walked you through, I have actually put our best Substack growth principles into a free guide titled 5 Substack Secrets for Fast Growth. You can comment niche below this video and I will send you the link so you can download it right away. And while you're at it, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so we can help more Substackers grow and monetize their work. Now let me show you what all of this actually looks like in the real world using a few of our own clients at Right Build Scale. One of my favorite examples in an unusual and boring niche is Diana, who founded the publication We Get Better with Age. It's all about healthy aging. The publication covers things like nutrition, staying strong, and keeping your independence as you get older, which is honestly about as far from a trendy and exciting topic as it can possibly be. She was actually so nervous and insecure about the niche that she almost didn't turn on paid subscriptions at all, but within 3 months of working with us, she crossed 100 paid members and earned her bestseller badge. And now she sells digital guides and products on top of her publication, which is already serving over 20,000 subscribers. Another client of ours, Benjamin, writes about global mobility, which is really the whole world of living, working, and moving across borders. Most people don't even realize that a niche like that has a name, and yet he has built a best-selling publication with only 4,000 total subscribers, and he is offering higher ticket coaching programs to monetize his expertise. And the same pattern goes well beyond just these 2 examples. Jordan, for instance, writes about data engineering. Our client Raquel writes about the nervous system in French. They all write about completely different topics from completely different corners of the world. And yet, every single one of them ends up getting to the very same result, building a thriving publication that serves thousands of readers. These creators didn't grow because their topics were exciting, trendy, or popular. They grow because they got clear, useful, and genuinely specific for a reader who who really needs them, which is exactly why their so-called boring niche was never really the problem. In every single case, it turned out to be the advantage. Now, let me be honest with you about one thing, because I'm never going to pretend that every single niche behaves in exactly the same way. The truth is that some topics simply monetize faster than others. So if your niche happens to solve an urgent and expensive problem, then people will tend to pay you fairly quickly. But if your topic is more of a slow burn interest, then it will naturally take a little longer to build the kind of trust that eventually leads to paid support. That is completely real, and it genuinely helps to know upfront which of these two situations you are actually in. But here's what matters most. Slower growth can also equal more sustainable growth, especially if you value trust and a high quality relationship with your audience. A patient, consistent creator building in an underserved niche will often turn into something far more durable and profitable than a quick spike in an overcrowded market. So here's the one principle I really want you to hold on to. Your topic was almost never the thing standing between you and the thriving Substack publication. What actually decides it is your clarity about who you are helping and how you are helping them. Because when you have less competition, higher intent from your readers, and an audience that has genuinely been waiting for someone to take their specific topic seriously, those are real advantages, and yet most people talk themselves right out of them before they even start. So if you've been holding back this whole time because you decided somewhere along the way that your niche is too small, too dry, too different to ever work, then I really want you to drop that story today. And if you already have real expertise in your field, but you would rather not spend the next 2 years slowly figuring out Substack through trial and error, then our private coaching program is the perfect fit for you. We help experts, coaches, and entrepreneurs turn what they already know into a thriving, best-selling publication on Substack. So if that sounds like you, head over to substackcoaching.com and fill out our short application form to see if we are a fit for each other.